Yeah, we have to go to Plan B since I couldn't get a judge scheduled for tonight. Nobody was available out of the dozen people that I've asked. Um, so yeah, we need three club members to act as judges this evening.
Max volume on this.
I guess it's Gary, also myself.
Okay.
And so how does this work, Paul? I mean, I read it, I understand it, but if you can just give us a little rundown.
Sure. Let me read this too. In the case an invited judge cannot be secured or the invited judge does not arrive, which did happen back in 2019 and twice in 2018. So we get three club members to sit as the judge for this evening. The three-judge panel, commenting judge will be selected from the panel, rotated with each sequential image. So if you guys, just rotate through and each one of you talk about an image, but we want you to confer about the image, hopefully come to a consensus on the score. If not, if there is a disagreement, if like two people say that it's an 8 and one person says it's a 9, we go with the majority, we'll go with the 8. And then we just do this as we normally do, just run through image by image and get your commentary on it and scores. If all three individual judges have different scores, then the final score will be the middle score of them. So, for instance, if somebody says a 7, one says a 9, one says a 10, then the final score will be a 9. And judges should abstain from grading and commenting on their own images, or if it's an image that you helped a fellow member with. Now, you don't have to announce that, this is my image, I'm not going to talk about it. You just have to say that you want to abstain. That's simple as that. Is that clear as mud?
Yeah. Now, how do we arrive? Do we have to write a consensus, or we just each say the score?
Well, in the past, it's been that all the judges sit together and you talk amongst yourselves and discuss the image and come to a consensus, hopefully. If not, then we'll take the individuals, whatever your individual scores, and go from there.
Then basically one as whatever you get into it. Yeah, and if you come up with a score of 9, Oz and I've done this a couple times before.
Yeah.
We probably won't differ much unless there's some other comment we might want to make.
How do you say?
But probably we're going to say agree with your 9, or I give it a 10. But then it's just a matter of how you average it, like you talked about. If it's 2 9s and a 10, it's going to be a 9.
All right.
Better.
Okay, so pretty straightforward.
Testing.
And mostly just one person votes.
Carl, say something.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. I had turned up volume on it. Thank you so much.
You got it? Okay.
That's yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Oz, you understand what's going on?
Yeah, I can't hear too well.
I know. Do you understand? Do you understand what's going
I understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, he's done it a couple times before.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll get rolling. I just want to mention that we do have a photo walk this week on Friday at 9:30 a.m. at the Capitol. If anybody wants to join us. I have had a really busy month and did not get it posted on our Focus Camera Club Facebook website or Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I apologize, but it is posted on the Metro Denver Photography Meetup group, and I think we have something like 10 or so RSVPs for that. So anyway, Jim and I will be there at about 9:15 at the Capitol on Friday. We'll do the Capitol, and then we'll do the Ralph L. Carr Court of Appeals, I believe is what it's called. But anyway, the courthouse that's nearby.
Is it the main entrance, the south entrance?
I thought it was the west entrance, but I'm not
I want
sure.
to make sure.
Yeah.
people knew which entrance you're talking about.
Kyle?
Yeah, Jim.
Yes, you can actually enter from the east side of the Capitol down at ground level, one level below the main entrance, or you can come in from Colfax. Either way, you can get up to the registration desk, which is where we're going to be meeting at 9:30.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Jim. And then as far as any other walks that we have scheduled, the St. Patrick's Day Parade walk on March 14th, and that is in our Facebook page, our Facebook group. So that's live. That's an early one, 8:30 a.m. or 8 a.m. I can't remember meeting time at Denver Central Markets. Yeah. I don't have any other announcements. Carl, shall we start, or do you have anything you want to say?
Well, do we have any guests in the room?
No.
Okay, and I'm scanning the Zoomers here, and I don't see anybody except club members. And even Todd is here from Death Valley.
Wow.
So how's life in a tin can?
Very good. I'm actually not in Death Valley yet. I have
Oh,
2
okay.
days to go. I'm parked right on the Colorado River, and I'm just below Davis Dam in Laughlin, Nevada, and I'm gonna be there by the 28th and spend the entire month of March in one place.
Awesome.
Life be worse. It's all
How
good.
fun.
All good.
Awesome. So you're going to make the super bloom, right?
I am, and
Yeah.
boy, am I glad I made reservations, 6 or 8 months ago, because you can't get anything now.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It's crazy. So good to go.
All righty. Glad you could join us. On March 3rd, there is going to be a total lunar eclipse, totally visible here in the U.S. If you want to get up in the morning. From what I found online today in Denver, it'll be kind of starting around 1 or 1:30 in the morning on March 3rd to Tuesday. Partial eclipse around 3 a.m., total eclipse around 4, and it'll continue on through dawn if you want to spend your evening doing a total eclipse.
Sounds fun.
All right, so Oz, Ben, and Gary, we thank you very much for stepping up. And Bob, if you're ready, let's get her going. Obviously, our calibration image, just to so you can see how bad Zoom is crushing things and how marvelous the TV looks in the room, I'm sure.
Ready? Here we go.
Yep. So our first image is attractive but uncomfortable.
All right, this is Gary. I volunteered to be the first one out of the chute given a score. One of my historic comments about judging, since I've been in the club quite a while, has been if you don't give it a 10, explain why and how it might get there, or if it got a 9, how it might be a 9 or a 10. So I think that's the most constructive information a judge can give is, could it be a 10? And if it can't, why? So anyway, I just want to point out that is what I'm going to try to do. Obviously, the theme of our competition is a chair. This is a chair, it's a unique chair. It looks like, from what I can tell, we didn't have the benefit of seeing these ahead of time, which is the old school way that we used to do things around here. So
Right.
no zooming in and looking at if all corners are sharp and all that kind of stuff. But
we'll have to make some assumptions, yeah.
right. And honestly, I think it's sort of overall impression when you see the image. I like the chair. I like the character of the chair. I'm thinking if the window really adds anything to the image, but I think it provides balance. I would say the foreground to me is a bit on the bright side, and I probably would have that's on the screen, but when you see it on the computer, that's not nearly as bright, maybe not as much of a negative. As far as technically, I think everything looks sharp. I think it's well done. I think the subject is the chair is the subject. That's what this is all about. I don't know that I would change a lot. Is it catch me and go, oh my gosh, that's a wow factor sort of thing. Maybe that's the only part of this image that I would detract from. I guess I would give it a 9.
Yeah, this is awesome. I agree with that.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay. Looking for a chair.
And to me, this it's just a picture of a chair. Well exposed. The chair's interesting. The person in the background and the white spot in the middle top, I think are just distracting. Guess I'll give this an 8.
I would agree as well.
I have to somewhat, I mean, I agree with the middle, the bright spot at the back, but I think the title of the image, looking for a chair, I guess that's why the title of the image was given what it is. The question is, does that person back there really it enhances from the standpoint of the title, but I'm not sure it enhances from the perspective of the chair itself. So I guess I would agree with an 8.
Okay. Where is everybody?
I certainly love the geometry of this image. Tonality, it's a little bit on the flat side for my taste, but that's just my personal taste. But love the composition. I really like how it took me a second to actually understand what was I looking, which is great. It adds to a story, right? The more questions that your image can ask of someone, I think the better the story it is. So as I said, it's well composed, love the geometry, processing, just a minor thing. I admit that this might be a personal preference. I tend to prefer punchier black and whites, but nonetheless, I think this is a great image and I would give it a 9.
I have to speak up and say, as past president and other positions on this board, there have been times when we've been really anal about the theme and whether this fits the theme. And this is not a chair.
But there is a chair there.
There is a chair. But this is something that and this is a personal thing. When I read the definitions for our themes, I take them literal. And I'm not going to say I would change the score. I'm just pointing out that in past, this might have been thrown out because it wasn't a chair.
I don't think that the definitions specify anything against multiple chairs.
No. I guess. I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of multiple chairs, so that's why.
I agree with Ben.
You might see a few, and I did go just slightly loose on the definition of a chair. There's a bench, there's some other things. There's a kid's stroller. But also a couple of weeks ago, I only had 6 images submitted for this, and in my mind, I was kind of panicked, like, oh my God, we're not going to have anything for the competition. But also, I know in the past that we erroneously had judges disqualify images. There's nothing, and has been nothing, in the competition rules that say a judge gets to disqualify an image. The images are reviewed by the competition chair and/or the competition committee as to whether they fit the definition.
Fair enough.
And like I said, I went a little bit loose on some of them, but yeah, multiple chairs doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
All right, next image.
Wait,
What I don't like is the tree in the background intersecting with the front armrest. But I'll go along with the 9.
So the consensus is 9.
Yep.
Okay. I got your back.
Nice exposure. Reds can be really tough to get, especially mixed in with other things. That yellow is really bright, but this doesn't have a wow for me, but it definitely meets the theme. I can't find anything technically wrong. I don't think the marks in the floor or any of the other things are distracting enough. There is a little bit of a, no, I don't see it on the computer. There's a little bit of a shadow behind the yellow color, behind the yellow chair that's a little bit distracting on the screen here, but I don't see it on the screen. I'd give it an 8.
This is ours. I agree. Yeah, it doesn't have the wow factor, but it's well done.
I agree with an 8.
Jilted sitters.
It's an interesting idea. And for me, it doesn't have a wow factor. Everything is, most things are centered and photos are good. I mean, it just doesn't have enough interest to score very high. So I'll give it an 8.
I would agree with an 8.
I agree with an 8. It's kind of tough to be really picky about a wow here when the subject is a chair, but I am assuming we're going to find a few here that are just going to blow our minds. So I guess I'm holding off for those.
Have patience, young Padawan.
Yeah.
This is on Golden Pond.
Carl, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is a bench considered a chair?
Tonight, yes.
Certainly a very
And again,
pleasant,
this was on Golden Pond.
certainly a very pleasant scene. I like what I'm seeing. I feel that it's a little too heavy towards the right, but that once again, it's personal taste. I think I'm seeing detail wherever I would want to see the detail. And certainly the reflection of the water in the front part heightens the silhouette. So I think it's well seen, well done. The story, it's nice. And as I said, my only discomfort is the image feels a little too right heavy. But I would give it an 8 and be happily I'd be happy willing to give it a 9 if the other judges wants to give it a 9.
I have no problem with the weightedness to the right. I think it balances the brightness of the sun in the back, and I would give it a 9.
This is Oz. One objection I have is the line between the water, the bright water, and the ground goes right through the heads. And for me, that's not such a good idea. But I'll still go with a 9. I like the balance.
I'm glad you said that, Oz. That was one of the first things I noticed about the image was that line through the heads. This is Please Plug Me In.
I hate to be one of those judges that says the title can hurt an image, but I guess I see a plug in the middle there now. I had to look for it. I like the juxtaposition. That's kind of fun. I think I would have liked a better title personally, but I get it. There's so much going on in the background. I think the context of the chair out in nature could have been captured without having to spend so much real estate on it. So I think that was a mistake. But I'm not sure exactly where you could have cropped that given the saguaro cactus, whatever that is over there on the left. I don't see anything technically wrong with it, but I just don't think it really has any wow factor to me. So that the wow is the 9 to a 10 for me. The 8 to the 9 is sort of, is this unique? Is this unique? Is there something about it that maybe I haven't seen before? Haven't seen anything before here like this, but I think it's just missing. With the subject being the chair, there's too many other things going on, so I don't think I could give anything more than an 8 to this.
Maybe the lighting is awfully flat, and it's very, very busy. So I'm going to give it a 7.
See, for me, I like it. I actually like what the MS is saying, right? It's a unique scenario, a little bit absurd. It might not be a wow factor, but it certainly has a story. And I do like it. Now, I do agree that lighting is a little bit flat. But once again, I do think that all the elements in the background, as far as my personal taste, speak of the story that I tend to look for in an image. So I would go with an 8.
Open.
Open.
Just looking at the picture. Having the door or the arch in the center, I think that works fine in a picture like this. Exposure is good. And technically good. Interesting subject. Yeah, I don't think it has as Gary says, the wow factor. So, but I like this as an image. One thing that bothers me is on the bottom left, the dark piece merges into the edge of the picture. It would be better to have just a little bit more on the left side to avoid that touching the edge. But I'll still go with a 9.
I see this, and to me, it's a doorway. It's about an entryway. It's a tough image because of the brightness in the sunlight on the building to make the chair the subject, but the chair is supposed to be the subject. I don't think it's prominent. I mean, you could have probably isolated the chair a little bit and brightened it a little bit more. I don't know how much effort was put into that. That's the thing that is problematic for me. I would give it an 8.
Well,
All right, this is the Time Traveler's Mirror.
I do like this image a lot. I think it's well exposed. Edges are clean. There's a couple of rays from what it could be coming from the back of the mirror that goes out of the frame. But I think that just having those flowers framing the chair make the background not necessarily that prominent, important, or even noticeable. I'm just saying something because everyone is looking at the edges, and I just got reminded that we should be doing that. But I really like this image. I think it's very creative. I think it's well exposed. I think it has a great story. I would give this a 10.
I totally agree for all the reasons you described.
Yeah, I'll go along with that, but one suggestion is in the bottom right, that square has been cut off a little bit. I would add a little more space there at the bottom.
Good point.
Wow.
Clear when dodging and burning an image.
Great title.
Heard dodging and burning.
Take care when dodging.
Oh, take care when it's burning. Got it.
Very creative, very much fits the theme. I don't see anything technically blown out. It's all about the chair. It's all about flames on the chair. I I can't find fault with it. I like the unique aspect of it, the story that's being told, the uniqueness of it. I'll give it a 10.
That's awesome. I agree. Tim,
Fun, really fun. I think you can move on, Bob.
Oh, Ben,
That's all right. It would be the 10 regardless, but yeah, it was just looking a little bit soft for me as far as focus, but 10 is fine.
Sorry, Ben.
No, it's all right. Took too long.
This is a better perspective on the news.
yeah, exposure is good. The subject is interesting. Not saying the fellow's face is okay because he's reading the newspaper, but one problem here is that the chair is not the main subject. So otherwise, well, the vertical lines are really vertical, which was correct. But because it's not the main subject, I think I'll give it an 8.
Let me just clarify that the description for the topic was that a chair has to be a main element, not the main subject.
Okay.
And I don't know if that'll change your score or not.
So I'm looking at the definition from our website. It says your image must have a chair as a main element in the shot. Whether there is a person or animal or something else in it is up to you. Or maybe some creative lighting is all you need. Find a way to tell a story. Just for clarity.
That's about it.
I think that the image, the tonality is great. I do like the black and white conversion a lot. I'm seeing clear blacks and clear white, not true blacks, but almost blacks and almost whites. So I would give it a 9. Given this new definition.
Yeah, in regard, in light of Ross' comments, I think a 9 is appropriate here as well.
I accept that as a score as well. 9.
Okay. On a stroll with a stroller.
There are a couple of things that are not working for me with this image. One of them is the shadow being cut. The fact that we're backlit. The background seems brighter than our subject. Understandable, it's backlit. But yet all of those elements are rendering this image for me too distracting to truly focus on the stroller. Even though I heard the title, I guess my brain it's fighting to try to find where do I start looking at this image and how to go about it. I'm not necessarily sure that the square format was the better choice. I would give it a 7.
I think it's a great capture in time. I think it meets the definition that's now been pointed out to be not the main part of the chair is not the main focus. It's a part. It's a strong element in the image. But I guess for the reasons that Ben has pointed out, I don't know if I'd be as hard on it as a 7. I think I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I've seen this picture before, so no comment.
Oh, which way are we going?
So what do we do now, Carl?
Flip a coin?
Go ahead.
I think in the past we rounded up.
Yeah, I would round. Tie goes to the runner. Say give it the 8 personally.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. And time.
Okay, we have a chair, we have well exposed image. To me, there's maybe a little bit too much green real estate in the bottom right corner. But I like the composition, I like play of colors. Maybe a little bit tight on the bucket down beneath the chair on the left, but I I think aside from all the green that's distracting to me, I'd give that a 9.
Because of the heavy emphasis on the green. I'll give this an 8.
I would agree with the 8. I think that the green, it is distracting, and there's a couple of things that could have made it not so prominent, perhaps making it a shallower depth of field and blurring them. I don't know if that would make it better or not. But then I promised myself that I was not going to say absolutely anything on how to go ahead and take the image again. So just based on what we're seeing, I agree with the right side being a bit too distracting because simply it's commanding too much of the attention. So I would agree with an 8.
Did you give it a
Forgotten.
score?
And after this one, Bob, let's look at 9s and 10s. We've got a decent amount of them.
What's the title?
This is Forgotten.
Forgotten. What's the title? Forgotten here.
Technically, all this is fine. In terms of composition, well, I like the diagonal lines of the plants going across on the ground. Position of the chair, maybe a little centered, too much centered. But I guess the main problem I have is that the pot on the middle left really draws the eye to that. So that pot's just, for me, too bright. Otherwise, everything is very nice in this. So I guess for that reason, I'll give it an 8.
I like this image a lot. Well, it is true that perhaps bringing down the values on the pot just a tad might help it. I still think that it helps being able to justify the inverse triangle that I am seeing here. So I would actually go to once again, there's story. I'm going all over the image. I'm enjoying the tonality, the colors, and I would give it a 10.
I agree with the 10.
Going back to our first image, which was attractive but uncomfortable. It was from Dan Greenberg. And Dan is not on with us this evening. He did note that this is an old 2-person chair in Fredericksburg, Texas. The scene was really all 3 very close colors of brown like this. And Where Is Everybody is from Barbara Masonville.
Thank you very much for the comments and for what you gave it. I have to say this theme was extremely challenging to me, but our themes are supposed to challenge us. So whoever was picking the themes, you did a good job. But I will say I'm glad that this theme is over. Thank you very much.
Barbara, I'm afraid you may be joined by a few other people on that point.
I wasn't sure. With being the first one, I thought, oh, do I even say that? But I do agree it is on the flat side. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice work. On Golden Pond is from Stephen McCulloch.
Yeah, and the comment about the line going through the heads was, the first thing that I thought of that made me hesitate. But yeah, and it's a little maybe cliche, but the watercolors and the idea that, people put chairs out there just for the sunsets. I mean, that's kind of it's from Minnesota, kind of a common theme that you have a dock and a chair where things are very peaceful at sunset.
Hey, Steve,
Can we get a little recognition for the models on that last one?
Oh, yeah. Kevin and Jordan, it was hard
Oh,
to
nice.
get them to
Okay.
cooperate, but they finally did.
Hey, Steve, I just want to suggest to
Keep
bring
it all in the
always with
family.
you a lather and your tilt shift lens.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Time Traveler's Mirror is from Kevin McCullough.
Yeah, this was actually at one of the antique stores down on Broadway and Evans area. And Jordan and I spent a Saturday there trying to find different chairs and different scenes, and this one was literally set up this way. So it just happened to be that the mirror was reflecting this kind of retro 1960s chair and table and everything stacked on it. So appreciate the comments. Oz, thank you for the catch on the lower right-hand corner on chopping off that little piece. Definitely good feedback. Appreciate it, everyone.
Take care when dodging and burning an image. This is from Steve Kearns. He dropped in the chat. He said he found this chair on an abandoned patio. I was taken by the loneliness, I'm sorry.
No,
That's from Laura. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd like to hear the story behind how he came up with this idea and how he pulled it off.
me too. I don't know why it looks like a miniature chair.
It does.
Yeah, those flames look small.
Yeah, I was going to say they look like matches, like from a book of matches or something like that.
Yeah.
Very creative though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody raided their kid's dollhouse, and that's what they came up with. Okay, a better perspective on the news from Joy Lindholm.
Yeah, thank you all you three for your feedback, and appreciate Carl you clarifying the definition to bump this to nines and things like
In the nick of time.
that. Yeah, this was kind of a funny thing that happened last spring. I was at Tattered Cover down in Littleton and just browsing the shelves and stumbled upon this guy that just parked himself right in the middle of everything and was reading a newspaper, and actually cropped it down a little bit on the left. There was a Christmas tree hanging out there, so I'm pretty sure he took that box from the Christmas tree display and used it as a footstool. So I just thought it was too funny not to grab with my iPhone, and did quite a bit of dodging and burning, kind of brightening up the subject and making the background a little bit less obvious. A lot of those book covers were pretty bright, so did a little bit of work there. But yeah, kind of a fun scene. So thanks for your comments.
Well done, Joy.
Yeah. And Forgotten from Laura Blake. And she said that she found this chair on an abandoned patio. I was taken by the loneliness of the chair. Thanks for the score. I will look into the pot issue. Smile. All right. And I just want to mention on the image before that, the sticks in time that with all the greenery in the right hand side. I think Gary, you had said something about shooting the image again. Well, that image was actually from Gwen, and she said that she found it on the street in West Cliff, Colorado, but when she returned the following year, it wasn't there. And she said, "Take the photo while you can." Now I know I didn't score a 9 or a 10, but it was just yeah. One day she found it, and then the next year she was at the same place and it was gone. So take those photos when you can, folks.
Maybe somebody lit it on fire.
You never know.
Some of my best photos are ones that can never be taken again.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my springs are shot.
I do like where this is going. I do like the proposition. I really enjoy the lines guiding towards the chair. I'm a little bit confused by the tonality of the chair. It takes a little bit of time to realize what's going on. The the little light streaks on the wall also make it a little bit complicated. And not that that takes away from the image. The only suggestion that I would make is to selectively try to make the chair color a little bit more prominent so it can have a little bit more of weight. But as I said, not enough for me to say that this is not an image that I truly enjoy, and I would give it a 9.
I'm struggling with, I think there is a different tonality and color to the chair, but it also seems to be passed on to the wall behind, like some effort was made to try to pull the chair forward. I don't know, that bothers me. It looks like a purplish hue is the, for lack of a better sense, but that wall behind it doesn't have the same tonality as the wall around it. So that's what bothers me. And I agree with Ben that the chair doesn't stand out that prominently as a subject. I love the room, all the dilapidated feel of everything. That's creative. Leading lines, the vignetting. It's putting the chair central makes it the theme, I guess, but it's lost a bit. And I think I would give it an 8.
I said 9.
This is Bob's. I have a suggestion. The 2 bright spots on the left edge, I would remove those so that your eye stays within the picture. I think I would still give it a 9.
Obviously showing the subjectivity of judging.
This is a railway murder foiled.
That's fun. That's great. Very creative, very much catches your attention. I like the leading lines. I like the central placement of the subject. I like the theme with the ropes to show somebody was tied to it at some point, the storytelling aspect of it. There probably, you could beat the maker up a little bit with some of the distractions, like the road on the left that might either been removed or toned down considerably. But overall, I really like this image. I'm going to give it a 10.
Mrs. Oz, agree with Gary.
Yeah, I also agree, and I do agree with where it is as well. It serves me where it's to consider it just a very subtle vignette, just to even allow us to focus more on the chair and get rid of that bright spot on the road. But even the bright spot on the road does not definitely take away from the time and the creativity of the storytelling.
Siesta waiting to happen.
Siesta waiting to happen.
So I have some problems with this picture. Where the chair is really very bright. And then on the bottom right side, there's too much dark there. I think the whole scene is a little too contrasty. Also, the placement of the chair is not so interesting. I think it could be done a little better. So I guess I'll go with the 7.
For me, the chiaroscuro definitely works. I'm curious, how this image would look on black and white, but as it is, the one thing that I do agree with Oz is that how the chair's position makes it for a bit of a less interesting scene, and also because that part of the chair that's bouncing too much light, it makes it a little bit. But I mean, then again, it's subjective because that's also helping my eyes just anchor on the image and then go around. And as I said, I do like the chiaroscuro. I appreciate the shadows. For me, it would be too bright to take a nap, but But I get it. I think I would go with an 8.
I'm not sure. I think there's too much real estate that's bright that's not the chair, so I would go with a 7.
Solitude.
Solitude?
Blue solitude.
Blue solitude.
Yeah.
Hearts and Mind straight. Nothing technically wrong with the image. Story wise, I think that it's lacking. Lighting it's too even, it's too flat for it to create some sort of atmosphere or nostalgia or and you know the sense of solitude. Once again, nothing technically wrong with the image. Just for me, for my taste, it's not speaking loudly. I would go with a 7.
I've seen it before.
I agree with Ben on a lot of things. Yeah, I'll go with Ben.
One is the loneliest number.
Like black and white or the monotone. Can't tell if it's truly black and white or maybe sepia on the screen with black and white up there. Nothing really distracting around the subject. I like the light on the face of the person. I'm a little bit lost in the backpack or whatever's underneath the chair. There's not a lot of, it looks like a big black hole on the screen here. On the projection looks better than on the computer. I guess I like the overall subject. I think the floor doesn't take up too much space. There's a big white wall, which does take up a lot of space, but I don't know, it leads somewhat to the solitude. The subject's not dead center, so I like that. I like the storytelling aspect of it, but I don't know that I could go to a 10. I would say 9.
Yeah, I'll go along with 9.
Seen this before.
Okay.
Okay, so 9 it is.
Oh, 9 it is. A
9 out of 10.
I guess this is a little too complex, too busy. It's great as a black and white. And there are some diagonal lines, but for me, it doesn't. No, it doesn't have what Gary says the wow factor. So I think I'll give this an 8.
I do like the repetition. I do like how lighting it's helping the front row break kind of the patterns and also perspective, right? I would argue for a 9.
I've seen this one before as well, so I guess that makes it a 9.
It's a 9.
Okay. Lobby.
Yeah, a lot of things are working for me in this image. I do appreciate the treatment, that sense of grain. I don't know if this is film or digital, but just adding the grain. You know, this is definitely chiaroscuro, definitely contrasty on the punchy side. And the only portions that I am seeing that could potentially go to black, I'm having. I don't think you're right. So even with a high contrast image, I think the tonality was managed really well, not to lose, not to go to full white, not to go to full black. Definitely the light coming in from the windows, creating those diagonal lines going down, balancing with the brightness of the chair. It does create a really nice composition. The one thing that I don't, and I am questioning myself right now, and I'm doing this on the spot, so bear with me, is if you know what? No, what I was going to comment is that the right side of the image ends on a dark tone and it starts with white. And I was thinking, well, what would happen if it would be white on white? So just cropping a little bit so it's in a column, if it would frame it better. But you know what? I think this is actually brilliant, and it gives it a little more dimension. So I would go with a 10.
On the screen, that dark image on the right, as projected, doesn't look like it's very sharp, but on the computer, I think it's reasonably sharp. But for all the reasons you described, this is not my area of knowledge, but it does have a really unique feel to it, and I think it was handled quite well. I do like the shadows on the wall behind. I do like the shadows across the floor. I agree with you, Ben. I think originally I was thinking that white column on the right was just overwhelming, but if you tried to crop too close, you wouldn't get the other chair. Leaving that black strip, I think, really is a nice compliment to the left side. So I think it's well thought through. I give it a 10 as well.
My suggestion is to maybe use a vignette so that would tone down the whites around the edges a bit, but it's still a great picture. So I'll call it 10 as also.
Remembering the Veterans.
Great title, great story, great tonality, great time of day with those long shadows. Oz has been talking about cutting things off on the edges. This was well thought relative to not cutting off any headstones. There's contrast in the sky to give it sort of an ominous feel. While the wheelchair is not the brightest thing in the image, it's the largest and the most contrasty. So it really is the subject without a doubt. It's a 10 for me.
This is Oz. I agree with the 10.
I do as well.
Another unanimous one. Good. Guys, I appreciate all the stuff that you're saying about each image and everything, but if we're going to prevent having a 2.5-hour meeting tonight, I think we need to speed up just a little bit if we can. This is Cold Seat.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful picture. The chair with snow on it. Framing's great. Like the black pieces of the chair going into the corners. I mean, this is a 10. I'll leave it at that.
I was a little confused at first. It took me, because we know that this is a chair competition. I don't know if I would have figured out that this was a chair without the context of the competition. The image alone, it's great, but as I said, I know it's a chair, but I'm still having, I felt that my first thought that it was some sort of a filter for the kind of stuff that you put on a floor of a shower so that the objects don't go through. I'm not going to take away from the 10.
10.
This is Riding High.
Nice for small minds. I like the placement of the chair that's breaking the pattern. Vertical looks good too. Once again, my only suggestion, it feels just a tiny bit flat, so increasing just a tiny bit of contrast. That would be my only recommendation. But other than that, it's a 10.
I disagree with the verticality. I feel like it's tilted, but for that reason, I would give it a 9.
I agree with the 9.
No, I'm seeing tilted.
The American Frontier, Life in the Old West. And Bob, after this, we'll go look at 9s and 10s again. Thank you.
Definitely have the sense of the Old West with all the staging of the space. I think there's some bright spots that are distracting, bottom left in particular. The window's kind of tough, and I'm not sure if that could have been done any differently. I think technically it was shot well. Everything is, depth of field is good, things are in focus. But it doesn't really do much for me, and I think there's some distracting highlights, so I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll agree with an 8.
So do I.
Okay, we're going back to, there we go. My springs are shot. Bob Corson.
Oh, I'm on at the beginning.
Yeah, he is. He walked away.
Bad timing.
I see an empty chair. That's all. So he's tying in with the theme tonight, just showing us a chair. Yeah, we can come back to that. All right, this is A Railway Murder Foiled from Aaron Alfinger.
Thank you so much for the wonderful comments. I had so much fun putting this together. So storytelling in images has not been my thing. I've tried these a few times with 52 frames and the single week that you get for those, I just really haven't had much luck. But since I had some lead time here, I decided to really lean into this one. I spent at least a week trying to find the perfect chair at a reasonable price on Facebook Marketplace and also a railroad track where I could put it and not risk getting mowed down by an actual train. And then I just kind of retook the photo with different lights at several different times a day and decided on this one. So had a lot of fun putting it together. Such a great suggestion to use vignetting. I never think of doing that, and now I will. Thank you so much.
Is that the trolley track down by Confluence Park?
Yes, it is. And you may also, yeah, it's by,
That's what I thought.
yes, and that is like the Platte River running trail on the side. Notably missing Elitch's roller coasters are kind of where that clump of trees would be. So definitely use the remove to take the roller coaster out there.
So well done, Aaron.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And you heard the comments that people said about storytelling. This is great. And you definitely win the prize for, most effort put into an image for a photo contest.
Thank you.
For hunting down that chair and everything else that you did.
I appreciate the favorable comments.
Sure. Bob, let's back up to Bob Corson. I just saw him on.
Yep. Hey, sorry guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we made a little joke about, you stepped away and just left your chair there, so it's fitting for tonight.
I'll take a picture of it. I'll take a picture of it next time.
There you go. So would you like to explain this image a bit?
Yeah. So first off, thanks for the comment. And actually on my screen, has better contrast. I added a little bit more contrast, so I appreciate the comments about bringing out the chair a hair more. My goal was the lines of this old house, which was in Kansas. I love finding old houses. I do a lot of stuff with Milky Ways, but I look through the window and there's this chair. But I appreciate the comments, especially on the two whites on the left side. Believe it or not, this room is pink. So I didn't change the room at all.
Interesting.
Other than,
It's pink.
I'll say loosely, it's faded pink. I didn't change the chair. The only thing I would have, and I agree with you, now that I'm looking at it again, is I grabbed the chair itself, and all I did was, I would say, bring some more contrast out so the chair was more prominent. But this room, nothing's changed. I didn't change any color tone. It is what it is. So, but thanks for the comments. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob. One is the loneliest number is from Stuart Little.
I had lunch with him this week and he said he wasn't going to be able to make it to this meeting, but he said that he was going to send you comments.
Yeah, he did write that this was taken near the entrance of the Los Angeles Central Market. He said, I spotted this guy and made the image.
Good shot.
It was a nice catch. I'm a 10. It is from Jim Shedler.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys. It's my first 10. It's my second competition. I'm sorry, my first 9. And this is only my second competition. So thank you very much for the score. I'm not speaking very well because I had dental surgery today, so forgive me for that. And the thing that caught me about this image is I like the repetition. And I also like the sort of a bit of a vanishing perspective off towards the upper left. So that was basically what drew my eye to the image. And also, I'm having a black and white year. I'm trying to do way more black and white this year. So this one fell right into one of my goals.
Mm-hmm. Very nice shot. Lobby is from John Salisbury. And he noted that this was early morning light streaming inside the lobby of a DTC office building.
This is like a poster for a psychological thriller. So cool.
Anthony Perkins stars in.
Yeah, right.
It's so much better on the screen, on the computer too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's not washed out at all. It's right on par.
Yeah,
No, if you see the original, it's a really nice shot. Very well done.
Love it.
Remembering the Veterans. It's from John Helfrich.
Thanks for your comments. Yeah, I found this topic to be very challenging. I don't have very many, if any, usable chair shots in my photo library. So I actually had to go out and rent this wheelchair.
Wow.
And I had a number of ideas of how to shoot an interesting image with a wheelchair, but this actually turned out to be the only one I actually executed. And I took it to Fort Logan Cemetery and took a number of shots in different locations and different orientations. And this is the one that I thought worked out best. Thanks.
Oh, that's a very nice shot. John, did you pick that tombstone for a specific reason?
No, I didn't. That was
okay.
Just where I stuck the chair.
Because when you submitted the image, when I first looked at this, it clicked in my head, Armstrong and a wheelchair. Yeah, your arms have to be strong to push your wheelchair around.
Ah, nice, Carl.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that was on purpose.
No, just a coincidence.
Okay. Well, you can tell everybody it's on purpose.
All right, great. Thanks. I'll use that.
Thank you, sir. Cold Seat is from Bill Rothenmeyer.
Yeah, it's basically just a chair and a balcony in Breckenridge after some snow landed on it. So that's all it is.
Looks really nice. Good
cool
to see that.
Yeah, well, thank you for your comments.
Okay, Riding High is from Allie Green. And Allie travels a lot and doesn't always join the gang here. She said this was taken while hiking Osorno Volcano in Chile.
Osorio.
Excuse me?
It's Osorio, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought it was Osorio. I've been there. So it's but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyways, she said that we did take the chairlift up and back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also Kevin and Jordan McCullough, I'd like to point out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Central Chile.
Nice.
That volcano, they call it the Fuji of South America, Mount Fuji, South America.
Huh, interesting.
Cool.
Very cool.
How tall is it?
Mm-hmm.
How tall is
Ooh, I don't know how tall it is, but it was tall enough for me to take the lift too.
There you go. Okay. We'll get to our last batch here. This is Rolling Adirondacks.
I'm studying the picture here. So it's a good idea. I mean, the red chair up there, contrast with the black with the background. I guess what I don't like so much is that the light's pretty flat on in the wood. For me, the contrast in the wood is not so good. So the balance in the picture is fine, but I'll give this an 8.
For me, it's a bit on the saturated side of things. Maybe because what Paul's saying, the light's flat, trying to pop those colors out a little bit more, but it's causing some edging on the wood against the sky. And I might be wrong, but as I said, it feels a little bit saturated for me, so I would go with 7.
8.
Empty.
I like the repetition. I like the fact that one is down, set it apart from the others. Trying to decide if the keystoning kind of feel is a distraction or not. Got the outside edges going out from it, and that maybe is a wide angle effect. I don't know that that's a distraction. It's all one color. There was nothing. I mean, the fact that the seat is down puts a lot more light, I guess, there, which pulls your eye there. You could say it tells a story of sorts, but it's not taken me to a 10 from that standpoint, so I'd give it a 9. Technically, well shot.
I agree with the 9.
That's a 9.
Cozy winter playtime.
I think we skipped a bit.
Well, yeah, the previous one I did. I like this shot a lot, and I don't fall for cute pictures, but I fell for this one. I think it's really well exposed. I think that the lighting makes everything just very pleasant. The colors are nice. I really like it. As I said, it's a cute shot. That it's a really good shot. So the cuteness is just a bonus. It is a great shot. Well composed. I do appreciate the tonal values of the image. But the only comment perhaps might be the front part of the chair going out. But you know, for my taste, that it's not important. So I would give this a 10.
Not that it detracts because the chair doesn't have to be the subject, but if you haven't heard this before, I remember being told by a judge a long time ago, anything you cut off is not as important as those things that are in full. So to me, the subject is the kid, not the chair. If you had wanted the chair to be the subject, or at least make a bigger part of the subject, you would have put more of it in. But just wanted to point that out as something that I've heard from other judges in the past, and I'm okay with a 10.
I'm okay with a 10 also.
Don't let your dog get on the furniture.
When we turn it off,
The subject is the chair. Right, as part of the image is the chair. The dog is a part of the chair, effectively. If it's a dog, it's hard to tell, actually. No,
Prairie dog.
it's a prairie dog. Creativity, the background is washed out enough that you know what it is, but it's not drawing my attention. Technically sharp, front to back on the chair itself. I'll give it a 10 for creativity.
With 9.
I agree with a 9.
Seat, any seat.
This is how I was looking at the picture. I like the repetition, great subject for black and white. The only objection I have is that the eye doesn't go to any specific chair. I still like it very much, and I'll give it a 9.
I actually like the fact that your eye doesn't go to a specific share. I think it's very symmetrical. I think it's well placed, well cropped. And you know, I do like this image a lot. I would advocate for a 10.
My first reaction to it was it gets brighter as it goes back. Clearly, the front is darker than the back. I think I would have, if it was me, I would have definitely vignetted it perhaps, or done a linear, whatever it's called, drag from the top and darken the back to make the subject more in the middle. Maybe it's an optical illusion, but I keep squinting my eyes to say, is it playing tricks on me or is it really getting brighter? And maybe it's because there's 5 seats in the back row and each one of them has a bright spot and that's feeling a bit brighter. That's my only objection to it. I don't mind the competition or the repetition. I give it a 10.
Waiting to be filled.
The only reason what I would give this score that I give it, that I'm going to say in a little bit, is because of the people in the back. I think that the luminous values could have been brought a little bit down lower on the background and have the chairs pop a little bit more. If that would have been the case, in combination with the stripes of the carpet coming forward, the tonality of the color palette of the image, I think I would have gone perhaps a 10 as it is. I'm going to go with an 8.
I also find the brightness of that back left corner a bit distracting. I really like the colors and the rug, but the other aspects of the background are distracting for me. If they could have been toned or removed in some way, that would have made it a 9, but I think it's an 8.
I'll go along with an 8.
So it's another situation where a ladder and a tilt shift lens is needed.
Yep.
Right.
Precisely.
And this is patriotic chairs.
Love the red, white, and blue. Love the shadows. Love the time of day. I'm disappointed that we didn't get all of the red chair. Although arguably the shadows are the subjects, not the shadows of the chairs are the subject and not the chairs. But I would have made it a 10 for sure if we'd have gotten all of that red chair, but I can't give it a 10 without that. So it's a 9.
Just as business honest, I think it's worth a 10.
Yeah, for me, the cropping of the chair, I would have really loved to see the red chair or no chair at all whatsoever, but then again, you lose the patriotic chairs. Again, shadows are interesting enough. I think I'll go with a 9. 9.
Okay, so 9 it is. Outgrown but outstanding.
Outgrown but outstanding.
Both is great. This works well in color. But for me, the subject is, it's a nice family picture. I would say not more than that, in my opinion. Gives us a 7.
I agree with the 7.
I agree with 7.
You may be seated.
Yeah, it works for me. It works for me a lot. A little bit of perspective, making your left verticals not very vertical, something that you could consider changing. But the white portion, the lighter portion of the sky where the clouds are at, converging with the first triangle in the scene and then the shadows it really works. As I said, for me, it really works. Once again, I tend to prefer not images a little bit more punchy. I get it, into personal preference, but I play with it. Consider increasing your contrast just a little bit. Killing your shadows a little bit, and perhaps using a little bit of clarity if you use Lightroom. But nonetheless, it's a great image, and I would give it a 10.
I like the first. I'm sorry, it doesn't totally wow me, but I think it's a great image, so 9.
At a 9 as well. I had a comment on the left side, a little more than half the bottom. There's a very light spot that should either be removed or popped out. It's distracting.
Faded.
Given the 3 subjects, one in the middle, I don't know how you can do anything different about that. That doesn't bother me. I like the strip of blue to offset the strip of concrete at the bottom, but that strip of concrete at the bottom's a bit overwhelming to me. I don't know if a little less of each, I don't know, that might have not carried the day. I don't think the time of day is bad. The shadows are nice and dark and separated and not directly beneath the chair. I don't see any real edges that have distractions. I think technically it's sharp. It's just 3 chairs. Doesn't really tell a story in any significant way to me. 8.
Yeah, it was a 7.
Yeah, in addition to what's been said, this is just a personal thing, but my OCD, it's the one thing that I'm seeing is that one chair, the angle of tilt, it's a little bit different than the one at the other edge, so that kind of makes the image imbalance. Very personal thing, but I would also agree with those, and I would go with a 7.
An nice place to sit.
And it was great for black and white. And I guess it's a reflection in water, in a puddle. Oh,
it's an ice
sitting. Anyway, however it is, the reflection of the chair in the bottom, very nice. Contrast in the whole picture is great. I really like this, and I'll give it a 10.
It's 10 for me as well.
Agreed.
Lost in the story.
I do appreciate the fact that the subject is silhouetted. It makes it far more interesting. The background, I think it's soft enough, so I think that your depth of field, your aperture was the right aperture. It's not clear, but I get enough of what's behind him. Yeah, the only comment is that once again I feel that when there's objects that are framing your subject, sometimes I question myself is if that inner frame, in this case the shapes in the window, if the outer frames sometimes conflict and distract from the natural frame of the image. So I wonder if bringing it a little bit closer, even if the subject is closer to the edge, the fact that he's looking towards the right side of the image might make this image much more impactful. For that reason, I would give it a 9.
I just covered the upper third of the image and said, does it still tell the same story? And I think it does. The shadows become much more prominent, and maybe you didn't want as much of that, but I think there's too much real estate in the bright part of this image, and you still get that looking out the window silhouette feel without it. But I like the concept. I like the storytelling. I'm okay with the 9, but I would have cropped it different.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because the building in the background is almost overpowering for the whole picture.
Buenos Aires Airport during COVID pandemic.
I have to say that I'm impressed with our membership's take on this, because I struggled immensely with this, and there's some really, really fun stuff here.
Agreed.
Yeah, same here.
Like the repetition, but not repetition, the maze, marks on the floor, the overall tonality is a bit on the bright side, but I don't think that's bad with all the dark posts and ribbons. It allows your eye to wander around through it. I probably would have gotten rid of that one lone pole that doesn't have anything connected to it over there if I could have, but that might have been really hard. The location of the chair and the podium is a bit far away, but I still think it's a great story. I would have liked to see those 2 subject items be more in a power position, maybe a bit closer. For that reason, I think I could only give it a 9 out of 10.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, I do like this story, but I do agree with you, Gary. I think composition-wise, and composition in the relationship to the main subject, I think we're losing a lot by those 2 items being so close to the edge of the image. I would go with an 8. But we're going higher number? We're rounding up, so it would be 9.
Yeah, we're rounding up, so 9. Yeah. This is Between Steps.
This is a hard one for me to judge.
Because you don't wear stilettos.
I tried it and it's really very good. The placement of the green is good. Shoes in the foreground. The base of the chair is good.
Do you see that the chair is also a shoe?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the shoes in the background, that's good. So the score. Yeah, I go with a 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 10 too. The only thing that I would suggest is perhaps considering adding just a little bit more mood by just bringing down your shadows a little bit, just a little bit more moody, and let that natural light be more commanding a little bit more attention, but suggestions only.
I agree with score and comments.
Morning swim.
Nothing technically wrong with the image. The green and the blue, I'm not sure if they work that well together for me. I think the cropping is fine. I think that the diagonal that the edge of the pool is creating, it's nice. But there's not much of a story for me here, so I would go with an 8.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thoughts of days past. And after this, Bob, we need to look at 9s and 10s because we got a bunch of them.
I feel like the chair is competing with the columns behind, even though the columns behind her is sharp. The tonality is much the same. Actually, I think it's brighter on the computer in the background, but not so much up there. There's a lot going on in the background of this image, so that's a distraction. I like the chair. It's a great chair. It's got some character, but I'm really struggling with all the other things going on in the image. So I'm sorry, but I have to give it a 7.
Yeah, I also, and my suggestion is to have a little more foreground in front of the chair.
Yeah, I do agree with 7. I think that what's not working well for the overall image is the fact that we have very similar tones altogether, and there's all over the place, and there's too much in the background now. Unlike the other image where it was also a busy background, the difference is that once again the tones are very similar, right? So and then that vertical column being so bright. It's where my eye went first, so I would agree with the 7.
All right, and we're going back to empty, which would be like the baseball stadium with the empty seat. I think 2 more. Yep.
Yeah,
And
this
this is from Ben Hernandez.
It's a chair. I gave myself the task this year that I can only pull one image that I previously had, and I need to go ahead and grab and create a brand new image. So this was about the only chair thing that I saw since we've gotten the list. So
Where did you shoot that, Ben?
actually you were there. This is at the
Stock show?
The stock show. Yeah.
Nice. I was wondering if that's where it was.
I actually have a comment that I have to add about those chairs being in the stadium and the Coliseum at the stock show. I took some photos of them years ago, just after having visited Fenway Park in Boston, and they're the exact same chairs by the exact same maker as the chairs in Fenway Park.
Oh, that's very cool.
Wow.
So I could have said Fenway Park, and you would have said yeah.
Well, wrong color. The ones in Fenway Park are red and blue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice little bit of trivia. But it's interesting what you said, Ben, about limiting yourself to only pulling one image that's out of your archive that, because I have to say that for this competition, probably 30 or 40% of the images were shot this year. There wasn't, I mean, obviously it's still a majority that, people were pulling from their old stuff, but, we always encourage people to go out and shoot new.
Yeah. Well, life gets in the way, so that's what I said. Well,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can pull one from the archive, but you have to work on the other.
Right. Cozy Winter Playtime is from Brian Donovan.
Yeah, thanks for your comments, guys. I took this a couple of years ago when we used to get snow. I just want to thank you guys for stepping up and being judges. You're doing a great job. It's a bit of a thankless job. You make a few people really happy, and you disappoint a lot of others that because everybody submits a 10, but in their own minds. But thanks for doing that.
You suckered me with a cute picture of this one. Good job.
That's great. Thanks, Brian. Don't let your dog get on the furniture is from Terry Hanford. And Terry, I see you on Zoom. Are you there? Or did you walk away to get a glass of water or something?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear
There we
me
go.
now?
Yep.
Okay. So recently someone asked me are you still having fun with your photography? And I thought about that, and I thought, well, I'm not having enough fun with it. So I had this thought of a prairie dog burrowing into a chair. And so I see someone asked if it was a taxidermied prairie dog. No animal died for this shot. I actually took the prairie dog picture down at Prairie Creek Reservoir Park, where there are lots of prairie dogs. And then for a couple weeks, I saved up the dog hair in my vacuum cleaner and made this sort of circle around in the chair, and then took a picture of the chair. And it is a composite shot with the prairie dog stuck in there. I think if would do it again, I would stick him a little bit farther down so it was clear that he was burrowing.
He was burrowing, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I got it in 4 minutes before the deadline. Because there was lots of work to be done to get it to this point.
Right.
Anyway, thanks for your comments and thanks for the score.
Well, it's an excellent result.
Really fun.
Yep. Pick a seat, any seat is from Barbara Masonville.
Thank you again, guys. I think you guys have been very generous to me tonight. Like I said before, I struggled with this theme and glad it's over. Thank you again very much.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. This theme challenged us and it definitely did, and that's what themes are supposed to do for us. So thank you.
Yep. That's my theory.
Yeah, the comment on cutting off the red chair. I was trying to get my iPhone up as high as I could. And if I'd known I was going to submit it in a competition, I'd have found something to stand on.
Like a ladder.
Yeah, a ladder, another chair, broken something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, the thing that struck me was the contrast between the shadows and the chairs, and how when you looked at the chairs, you didn't see kind of what the backs look like. So
thank you, Steve. It's an interesting shot. You may be seated. It's from Jordan McCullough.
Hi. Yeah, this was taken. It is an archive. It was 2023. When we were in Italy, we were visiting the Vatican. So this is St. Peter's Basilica, prepping for service on Sunday out in the courtyard.
A nice place to sit is from Steve Kearns. I'm not seeing him on Zoom here. And unfortunately, he didn't leave any notes. So I don't know if this was huddled in the backyard where he left a chair, or he just stumbled upon this scene. Lost in the story is Joy Lindholm.
Hi, yeah, thank you all for your comments. I did play with this image for quite a bit, trying to get the cropping to where I thought it made sense. So I appreciate your opinions there. This was taken at the Calgary Central Library last spring. Just really loved the shadows and the silhouette, and actually contemplated saving this image for the window competition later in the year, but I guess I'm glad I did it for this one, so appreciate it.
Nice work, Joy. Buenos Aires Airport during COVID pandemic is from Oz Pfenninger.
Yeah, this was taken on a voyage trip to Antarctica during COVID time. And I was up on the floor here looking down at this maze. Yeah, I agree the chair is a little far in the upper portion. That's about it.
Cool shot. That was really cool.
All right, Between Steps is from Gwen Patton. And Gwen said this was in her daughter's state-of-the-art closet in Conifer. She waited for west-facing natural light and blurred out the shoes in the closet and lightened the shoes on the floor.
It's such a great shot.
That is awesome. Yep. Very nice. And I love that green too. That just makes the whole thing pop. All right, we've got about 10 images left.
They're all tens.
Thank God.
Yep.
Okay, this is Bored Little Mermaid.
Now, this is again, this is a hard one for me to judge. I don't know how to judge something like this.
Well,
Sit on.
I've seen this image before. It's all you, Gary.
Well, I'll tell you how I judge it. Does it meet the theme? Yes, that's a 7. Is it technically shot well? Everything's in focus. Depth of field's reasonable. That's an 8. Are there any distractions? Yes, I think that blue sign in the window is a terrible distraction. If that wasn't there, I'd definitely make it a 9. I make it a 9. And then the wow factor, it's pretty unique. It's, the tail is pretty prominent, but not too prominent. The girl is the subject. There is a chair. I guess I'd give it a 9.
Sold. This is The Best Seat in the House.
Great title. And I like the symmetry here. The brown at the top kind of puts a frame on it there. Yeah, I like this. I give it a 10.
I've seen it before.
The first reaction was the graffiti was distracting, but I think it helps tell the story. So I'm okay with it, and 10 is fine.
Very good. Spectrum.
I like it. It's hard to judge on technicality because I think that the treatment given to this image, to make it look a little bit vintage, if you may, it's very interesting. But it seems that everything it's okay. I do appreciate the storytelling. I do like the colors. I would give it a 9.
It had to be in color because if it wasn't, it doesn't carry everything. It doesn't carry the weight. The crack up the middle behind the middle chair is kind of fun too. Sometimes that can be a distraction. I honestly really like it. I give it a 10.
And I agree with Gary. I'd give it a 10.
Might be a composite.
Or somebody with a strong arm. The one that got away.
Well, there you go. Somebody did have a strong arm. Unless there was a ribbon and a balloon attached to it.
I think we threw the chair in the air.
That's what he said. Somebody with a strong arm. Interesting. We don't know. Great creativity. You don't have a perspective of really where the sun is other than where the light falls on the chair. So you don't have that to know where it was. It's pretty bright. I guess you do see some of the legs. I don't have a problem with the concept. It's creative. I think it's technically carried off well, even if it is a composite. The cloud image is acceptable, nothing distracting about it. You can tell the horizon is not far below the bottom of the image, so either it could have been thrown in the air or it's a composite. Does it really matter? No, I'll give it a 10.
The only thing that I am not being able to get over is that I would think that the lighting on the clouds agree with the lighting on the chair. I think that on the clouds, the sun is above the clouds. And I don't know which direction might be coming from the right, but it feels that on the chair, the sun is a little bit lower. So as I said, that discrepancy of where the sun is, it's the thing that it's not making me enjoy this image a lot. I would go with an 8.
Okay, on that previous image, I've got a 10 from one of you guys, an 8 from one of you guys. I don't think I heard the third one.
It was a 10.
Yeah, so it's a 10.
Okay. Cool, thank you. Have a seat at Arts.
Okay, well, it's nice that the chair's stool is very bright. For me overall, well, exposure is pretty good considering the conditions. But for me, it's a really busy picture, and there's a lot of distractions. You know, my eye goes to the red stool, but after that, it just wanders all over the place. You know, some distractions on the right side, at the edge. I would simplify that by removing some things over there. I think I'll go with a 7. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would agree with a 7. I think that just briefly, what could make this image a little bit more interesting, it's making it a little bit more moody, right? So bringing your midtones down and just keep the highlights with that warm light on the chair, I think that would make it a little bit more intimate, because it is busy, and we can see everywhere in the store. So as I said, making it, just bringing those values down, so your midtones, I think creating a little bit sense of intimacy would increase the power of the shot.
I know why I shouldn't say anything more, but I know why you left barbershop in it, but that striped pole on the left tells you it's a barber shop. And if you'd have cropped it below the words and cropped over to the doorway entrance, maybe that yellow post, you still would have been a bright red chair. You'd have had a barber chair in the background and the barber pole, and it would have told the same story. So I think it could have been cropped and made a lot better. I would give it a 7 as well.
The higher chair.
I like the idea. I am not entirely in the execution. I don't know. It's, it's hard for me to see I tend not to crop my images. And this is a rule for myself. I believe that you crop in the viewfinder. And I'm not suggesting you crop here, but I think that this image would work way better as a vertical image. You have the chairs on the left side, and then it's heavy there, and then you have this pillar is going to the right. So yeah, it feels that I'm traveling too much for no particular reason, right? Why is my eye being guided towards where there's nothing? So as I said, I think that perhaps a vertical shot on this one would have made this image far more powerful. As it is, I would give it a 7.
7.
Also 7. The lighting's pretty flat for me.
Saturday Night Poker.
I like the story. I think that the door on the left being bright is distraction. The window is bright, but that kind of lets in some interesting light, but I just don't feel like there's a lot of pop. The image, maybe it's meant to be a bit more moody, but I'm not really feeling it. The cards on the table are laid out reasonably well, as if people just got up from playing a hand or whatever, but it just seems missing contrast or something. 7.
I also agree with a 7.
So do I.
Stencil Madness.
Looking at the picture, it's like it is black and white. chair leaning against the wall is great with the leaves on the seat. But to me, the background is really busy. So I think because of that, also the upper left side is kind of flat lighting, just not enough contrast there and busy. So I like the picture some, but not enough. So I'm giving this an 8.
Yeah, I agree with those. I think that having patterns, both background and subject, and not having clear obvious difference, and even though the chair it's giving some light and making it the most contrasting thing, is something that you could selectively change the density and the depth of the image by playing with contrast in this black and white. And I also think that you waxed one a little too dark underneath the what it seems to be a trailer. I would actually give it a 7.
So one more comment. What I call the balance in this picture is not so good. It's not ideal because of the light on one side, the dark on the other side. That's it for me.
8. 2 8s and a 7.
Hair, and it's not cat hair.
Beautiful black and white, outside handled well. Exposure handled well. No doubt the chair is the subject of this. There's a little bit of things going on the left and right that I think have been dulled down enough to make them a non-distraction, but would have been better probably if they weren't there at all. But I don't know that that's enough to knock it down from a 10 for me.
I'll give this a 9 because of the light colored or something on the right edge. So a 9 for me.
I'd see this.
So a 10.
Yeah, since we round up, we're going 10. Okay.
Sure.
Championship in tough times. Or sorry, companionship in tough times.
So there's enough clues in the image, likewise and composition wise, to know what's the subject here, even though it's a little too much with the background. I'm assuming that this might have been a zoom lens, and that's why things are getting flattened a little bit. A little bit of discomfort is that I feel that in balancing the image as far as cropping, I would have moved the camera a little bit higher to avoid some of the ground, because to me, as I said, it contrasts the fact that I have nothing going at the bottom, but the top is very busy. I would give this image an 8.
I think that's generous. I'd give it a 7. I think it's just a snapshot in time.
I'll also go with a 7. Yeah, so 7.
Okay. All right, so the last batch was not all 10s, but we do have some 9s and 10s in there. We can sneak a peek at them. Yes, our bored Little Mermaid. This is from Stuart Little. He said this was taken in Santa Monica, and if you zoom in and read the sign in the window, it says Magic Tale, a great experience. I guess that caught his eye. The best seat in the house is from Jim Shedler.
Yeah, well, thanks again for the scores and also for all the comments tonight. I like Ben's idea of trying to do only one archival image in any given submittal. And this was my archival for this month. And it was actually taken 11 years ago at one of the very first developments in Rhino called the, oh geez, what was it called? It was called, I had it written down, the Taxi Project. So it's over on the west side of Brighton Boulevard. And it literally was the best seat in the building. It was a building developed for a lot of individual stores, and they had put a lot of chairs in the hallway. And this was the best of the lot.
And you didn't see the shoe shine guy there, huh?
Nope.
Yep. Okay. All right. Spectrum is from John Salisbury. It appears John dropped off his Zoom. Darn, I wanted to hear about this image. He said this was just a lineup of random chairs outside a bar in Wiggins, Colorado.
This is so fun.
I love this shot.
Me too.
The one that got away is from John Helfrich.
Thanks again for your comments. Yes, this is a composite. And I was, and again, I purchased this chair at Goodwill just for this competition because I was desperately looking for an interesting chair. And I found this brilliant pink chair, and I wondered how can I shoot this so that it would be interesting and the point, the main subject. And I thought, well, where's an interesting place to put a chair? How about in the sky? So I actually was thinking of trying to find somebody who could throw the chair up in the air for me, but I couldn't find anybody that strong. So I ended up just hanging the chair from the roof of my deck and shooting it and then cutting it out in Photoshop and compositing it. And I was very much aware of the angle of the sun versus, the sky itself, because I wanted the sky or the image to be harmonious between the sun and the sky and the sun on the chair. But since I had to use a photograph of a sky from my collection and the sky that day was not very interesting, this was the best sky I could come up with. But so I thought it was close, but yes, it doesn't match exactly.
Now, when this was submitted, I went and actually looked up the word because I knew it wasn't cat hair. But it's an Irish word that means chair in its modern translation. The old Irish, it meant warrior or man of battle. And I don't know if I pronounced it exactly right because I looked it up last week, but as I remember, I thought it was cahair. So anyways, a beautiful black and white chair.
Who's the photographer?
This is from Ben Hernandez.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is. And just so you guys know, I'm starting a revolution against titles, so brace yourself. It's actually both for Irish and for Scottish Gaelic. And this photograph was in Scotland a couple of years ago. And this chair was where the security guard was supposed to be sitting inside of this castle. He was not there. I debated greatly getting rid of the discrepancy on the right-hand side. I opted not to because, as I said, I try to crop on the viewfinder. Not that I don't crop, but I just try to. But also, when I did play with cropping a pane, it just put my chair in relationship to the window, and it was compositionally was not speaking to me. So I tried to tone it down as much as I could without it overpowering or not matching the rest of the tonal values. So, but thank you guys.
Hey,
All right.
Carl.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl. I know there's nothing we can do about this now, but one of my two images is missing from the competition tonight. So maybe I'll hit you up offline and I can get feedback on it at the next competition.
Or we could make it appear tonight.
And we really are a wizard.
Let's see.
I don't have it on my laptop, so.
Okay, well, your siesta waiting to happen,
Yeah,
that was in.
yeah. And then the title of the other one was, The
Yeah, but
Wheelman Cuts Through the Noise.
Oh.
right, but remember that I said that that was not going to be allowed because there was no chair in it?
Oh, no, I didn't hear you say that. And I would argue that there is a chair in it, but that's okay. I didn't hear you say that.
No, I didn't say it tonight. I mean, I emailed it to you
Oh, I didn't get it.
and said that that didn't fit because there was not a chair.
Okay, I didn't receive the email.
Okay.
All good. I respect that. I disagree, but I respect it.
Carl, this is Gary, I wasn't trying to make a comment that a judge could throw out an image. I just didn't know if.
Well, I understand. It's just I just wanted to clarify that point because in the past, some judges have thought they had that power.
And I didn't know to what degree our competition judges, and you've just demonstrated that you are reviewing them and not allowing some images. So I didn't know to what degree that was happening.
Yep. Let's see.
I thought you guys did a great job for having this thrown on you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, man. You guys were awesome.
I'm hitting the likes for those of you guys that really have it comfortable to do.
Yeah, that is.
I really appreciate it.
Not an easy thing to do.
Yes,
You have the judges right here, they give me a 9, I almost jumped off.
I also echo what Gary said in the middle of the competition, that I think our members are phenomenal because we took this competition, this definition, and really ran with it, like some serious creativity and really fun photos. I love our members.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will say, this is Gary again, I am my own worst enemy when it comes to selecting images. I swear I read that definition 400 times, and I swear it said chair had to be the main theme, so I had discounted probably 10 images that were very similar to things I saw tonight, so bad for me, but I don't know if other people struggle with that at times.
I think some people do, yeah.
Yeah.
There was just one image, and it really doesn't matter. I'll reach out to you, Carl, that I was curious why would it pass the vetting as far as definition of a chair, but it was a great image. So that's what I don't want to say which image this was, because it was a great image. It's just that I was curious but anyway, I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
All right.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming tonight. Really appreciate it.
For all the difficulty, how many images were submitted? 51.
51, yeah.